how's ClexaCon going so far? You guys having fun?
Yeah.
You guys hungover?
Yeah.
I think that you guys are lying. I saw a lesbian outside with a plastic guitar filled with alcohol. And I was like, girl, it's 10:30 in the morning. Just hydrate.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Do something. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere, right? It's happy hour somewhere. Cool. So did you guys go to Spatial yesterday?
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Perfect.
Are you guys going to Sinful tonight?
Yeah.
I don't know. They didn't give me a ticket, so. I don't know. See, I was ready. An extra ticket.
Yeah, you'll have it.
How you doing?
You're invited.
So, I was gonna go out last night. I was all revved up and ready to go, but then I went up to my hotel room and I was like, oh yeah, I'm old. And then I got in, you know what I'm talking about. And then I got in bed and watched Antiques Roadshow. It was a great night. Antiques Roadshow is a great show.
Change and go outside, or you could put on sweats.
So I hope you all have questions. Oh, here we go. All right, everybody.
Nobody saw that.
Yes, we did.
They're descending down from the ceiling. Look at the wires.
Have to get photos first.
I hate it to behind somebody and almost
All right, guys. Give it up for band themselves, Elizabeth Hendrickson. There's too many chips up here. I'll just lay across them. So, hi guys, welcome to ClexaCon.
Is that how you say it?
I'm saying it.
Yes, I've been saying ClexaCon. So Lexicon or Slexicon?
I love your presentation to that. We'll bring it.
This is for Clark and yes, okay. Get it now?
I don't know, I think now it's Lexicon, I guess. It's like Lexicon by night.
I mean, I've been calling it Slexicon for so long. There's no way.
No, it is what it is now. So, let me ask, when was the last time you guys saw each other? Are you guys friends in real life?
Well,
Way to make it awkward.
we don't see each other very much.
We don't see each other very
We're
much.
actually quite close, so
Yes.
I don't know explain that.
Well, if anyone lives in Los Angeles, if you live on opposite ends of the 405, you just don't see each other. And you don't take it personally.
I mean, listen, I went out of my way to get a job so that I could work with Elizabeth every day. And I like... Yes. I had to like... It was serious, like, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I was deciding whether to go back to All My Children or go to Then the Restless.
And you can all hate me because I convinced you.
You weren't even going to pay me more. She was like, oh, only that much more? And I went there because I thought that I would work with Elizabeth every day, and then I got fired like so quick. So I tried, I really tried. And also, our characters never really did anything.
Never
together.
really did anything together.
And on that show, you work like once, well, now you work all the time, but then you work like once. They would like bring you in once every 6 months and be like, we just want to make sure you still match the picture we have on your profile.
Yeah.
It's just for security. And you can say some lines while you're here, but you know.
Well, I had also never, you always worked all the time.
Yes.
I've never thought it was great if you even worked 1 day a week. So I was like, I'm working 1 day a week. Come over here, they spray tan you.
By the way, the spray tan thing was like the worst part of that job for me because it was everywhere. They would cover you with body makeup for everything, and I'm so pale, so they would like really lacquer it on, and it was in my car, and it was on my kids, and it was on my laptop. Wait, I didn't have kids yet, so that's fine.
But we did see each other last year right after Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah. All the way from house. I mean, that was only last year. Yes, I put Chad to sleep. I read him a book, and when I read it incorrectly, he corrected me on every single word. He would always, I would like skip a word and be like, you missed the dragon went up. I was like, oh god, it's like I'm failing at being a mother.
But no, she's really good. No, I think the reason I don't see her is because every time I meet one of Elizabeth's boyfriends, they're gone. Like she will like wait a year and a half to introduce me to somebody and be like, okay, this is serious now. And then like I'll meet them and then be like the death kiss. Then all of a sudden she'll be like, yeah, so remember that guy that I thought was really cool and
Well, you guys did give me a birthday card, my 30th birthday card, and said, it's a miracle, it's been 1 year, you and Dave are still together. Little did she know that I was breaking up with Dave like the next day. I literally broke up with Dave like 5 days later. And I still have that card. I love Dave so much. Robin, I actually do have a boyfriend, he's not in the room right now, but he's here.
he looks very nice.
I saw him last night and we showed up somehow at the same time. They were like, is that him? Is that him? Rob's checking in. I go over to her husband, Andrew, and he says, is that him? He said, is that the boyfriend? I said, yeah, who else is it? My assistant? I was like, I don't know. And they're like, they cannot believe, like, and now every boyfriend is like the phantom.
Yeah, no, it's true. I barely thought he existed.
Maybe don't meet this one. We want to work out.
Well, that's why I was kind of afraid to talk to him. Also, he's very handsome.
So let me take you guys back. I know originally on All My Children, Elizabeth, you auditioned for the role of Bianca.
I did. That's right. I did.
How did you two end up meeting? Was it once you got cast as Frankie?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Did you guys end
I'm
up
still
once
thinking
you
about
got-
that now. Why didn't I get that part?
It's all happening at ClexaCon, guys.
It's all happening.
Only
That's
at ClexaCon.
Yeah, so no, so I auditioned for Bianca, clearly did not get it, and then they brought me in for Frankie, which was only, a 3-month contract.
Can I tell you about the first time we met Elizabeth?
Yes.
Okay. So she's very wee, as you can tell, and is kind of unassuming because of that, because she's very small. And we were on set the first time, and I was like, holy shit, who is this powerhouse who's like yelling at Susan Lucci? Like, that's no big deal. I mean, in the context of the scene, but yeah, grown men were terrified of having scenes with Susan Lucci because she's forced to be
Susan
reckoned. She's
Lucci.
also small, so maybe you guys have that.
It's a small thing.
And Elizabeth Henderson, like first day on basically any set, you've done like a couple things, right?
I did one thing, yeah. I had never been, no, that was like, I've done a guest star on something.
So she, like Susan Lucci hit her with her car.
With the car.
Yeah. And she's like, how dare you, bitch?
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, look at this girl. Anyway, that's
So, it seems like commonplace and it seems crazy now, but we're talking only like 10 years ago, it was a big deal to be playing a lesbian on television, especially on soaps, which is, a conservative audience, a middle America audience. When you found out that the character that Bianca was going to be gay, did you get any blowback from your reps, from your agents, your managers? Was there concern about what it could do to your career?
Well, I didn't have a career or reps at the time.
That was like,
tremendously.
how many years ago was that?
That was
16,
16,
17,
well, we were
2002.
16, but you started a few years before us.
yes, yeah. Okay, so
Right.
20. Yeah. Well, I know when I started. It was in 1999.
9.
Yeah, 1999.
Yeah.
So that was
2001,
that was 18
yeah.
years ago. I can do math. I quit the business. I was actually working in the Clinton White House as an intern, and in his lame duck year. And I was going to college and was, thought I was moving on with my life because you can't do this as a grown-up. And then I got a call from my old agent who I was no longer with, who was like, we just keep getting calls from all my children and Judy Bly Wilson. She thinks you need to play this part. So I had actually been cast as Bianca when I was 11 years old. But I was tallish for 11, and I was already taller than Susan, and that was not gonna be a good idea. So at my fitting,
Everyone's taller except for Susan, except for me.
At my fitting, I got fired, but she remembered me all those years, and
That's amazing.
I know she's incredible.
It is amazing.
So she kept calling me, and I kept saying no. I kept saying like, no, I'm busy. I've got a boyfriend. Whatever. And then she just kept calling, and she called, and my mom lived in New York, and I happened to be in New York visiting my mom, and she was like, I really want you to come and read for this, and I came in. I was horrible at my audition. I don't know what she saw in me. I hadn't done it in a while, and it was like cold reading, and then she said, I have to be honest with you, now that you're in my office, I'm not going to let you leave without telling you that I think you should test for this part, so go back to Bill Clinton. And
Or you said you had a horrible audition, which I highly doubt is
figure out they
true.
all are horrible, but figure out what you're gonna do with your life, and you're gonna get a test deal. So just figure it out. So I was in the White House, and it just so happened that my direct superior was a huge All My Children fan and had the book, and she was like, you have to do this. You're going to work with Steve Salucci. Oh my God, you have to do this. And so then I was like, well, will you give me the day off to go test? And she was like, oh yeah. She was Southern.
That's not what.
So it was like presidential debate.
ClexaCon. ClexaCon.
Yeah, so that's it. What was your question?
I think I covered it.
Yeah.
So what?
Oh, my blowback! Guys, I had too much coffee this morning. Okay, blowback, yeah, no, so my sister's lesbian. It was not a good deal.
Short story.
So when you return to the show after Frankie dies, you return to the show as her twin sister Maggie, and then you guys.
Well, sorry, let me just cut you off, because let me tell you how I deal with blowback. I dealt with blowback. When I auditioned for the part, I had no idea what I was in for. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about the show. I didn't know about the character Bianca. I was never told that I was going to be playing a lesbian, which I don't even think was really written.
No, it wasn't.
It kind of evolved as they saw our chemistry that
When
we
she called
had.
me Bianca.
And I think that they saw something there. I mean, we had an automatic chemistry, and the fans saw that. And I think that that's how, that's how BAM evolved, because I was only a 3-month contract, and they told me right from the beginning, they said, listen, you're coming on, I was really there just to further the plot of whatever murder.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Seriously. I can only tell you what's going on. But they said, and that's it, they find the body, you're done. And I was like, okay, great. Whatever. I got 3 months of work. I've never, it was my first gig. I was very excited. So thanks to the fans, they had had signed a petition, and then I was brought back as the heterosexual twin sister. But the fans what?
It was a fan petition.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. It was a petition. And to think that, career is really owed to all of you, all of the people, because I never would have had that second chance, and that second chance brought me to, you know, where I am now. So I can't tell you how thankful I am to all of you.
So wait, but they brought you back as a heterosexual?
They brought me back, exactly. But then, you know, I was bisexual because the chemistry was yet still undeniable. So, but I was really bummed because of Frankie. I mean, it was really
Do you
Frankie.
guys remember how bad my acting was when I saw her the first time and had the face? We were in Mateo's bar. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was, but it was a salsa bar, right? And I saw you, and I had your feet, and I...
SOS.
Thank you, audience. Quick. It's SOS.
Yes, right, when I showed up. Yeah.
Sounds of salsa.
Yeah, we're going back a few years.
Oh my god, you guys. Moment here. Wow, yeah, so I saw, I remember it distinctly. It was bad. I was like... It's like Daniel Radcliffe in the first Harry Potter. Like, sorry, I was watching it this morning. Yeah, it wasn't my best moment.
Well, the chemistry that you guys had was undeniable, and this relationship played out like a real slow burn. Like it was a couple of years.
It took us like a year to hold hands.
Yeah, it was a lot of like lingering looks, and soft piano
They
music.
grew closer.
So, what I think is so cool is that at the same time that this relationship was happening, that was kind of the birth of YouTube. And with YouTube, people were putting together BAM clips online so that you reached a whole audience that maybe, you know, weren't soap watchers or were unfamiliar with All My Children, found out about this couple and this ship through YouTube through clips. And this is one of like the original YouTube fandoms. I mean, if you Google BAM, if you look it up on YouTube, there are like 10 million BAM tribute videos.
My friends love torturing me. Oh, I know.
It's a lot of like hazy, like slow-mo, such as Sarah McLachlan music.
Yes, Sarah.
But that was kind of the first time this exposed the whole audience to your fandom. So when that started kind of building up, what was that experience like? You're on this show and you're playing, you're not even a couple yet, but you suddenly have this massive lesbian following. Tell me a little bit about that.
I don't really know. I don't know that we were super aware of it. Like, we didn't have Twitter.
Yeah, I wasn't very aware of that. I wasn't aware. I was really just excited that I was living my dream. You know, I was like, wow, I'm on a soap opera, and now
We got letters, and I remember like they would, like somebody kept track of how many letters everybody got, like as a sign of your popularity or whatever. And they would tell me like, you know, you're doing pretty good. Like you're getting like letters, but it's letters. I don't know how much is a lot of letters. Is it 1,000 letters? Is it 200 letters? Like that's impossible to
Would
tell.
they come in and they would be like, this week, you are just crushing the luge. You are getting so many more letters.
No, it wasn't like that at all. They would give them to me like after they would pile them up for 4 months. So they would give them to me and I'd be like,
boxes.
how am I going to get through all of these? Like it was so, if it had been, like if they'd done it more often, it would have been much easier for me to respond to everything.
Yeah.
But it was like,
Yeah, there'd be boxes.
Answer all of these.
Anyway, so yeah, there were letters, and then we got. Did you get invited to Super Soap?
Yeah, I got to Super Soap. I was there.
So that's always a big deal to get invited to Super Soap. That means that like they think you have people who will want to meet you.
But they didn't put us together.
No,
Like we
Well,
weren't
'cause
like
they
on a
were
float
still-
together.
And they were still
We
trying to get you to be with JR or something.
Right.
Yes,
Because then when they decided to, and Branson's character, that's who it was.
Yes.
Because I was in the abusive storyline. I got very frustrated because, you know, we had made all this headway and then the big kiss was coming, which I'm sure you were probably going to get to. Sorry if I'm jumping to it. But
Totally okay. We probably should have like had a conversation before we got in front of all these people. So
we probably should
Like, because I feel like I'm reminiscing, like walking down memory lane.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
In real time.
But it was very frustrating because I wanted that kiss. We wanted the kiss together. And apparently,
I want that.
you know we're going to make out at the end of this. Sorry, we didn't talk about that before. But the woman who played Lena, apparently, what I was told was that they didn't. Don't clap for her.
I'm just kidding, you're great.
Sit up.
We're here for Lena, and I'm not here for Bruce.
But apparently what they had said to me, and who knows, I was so young and I really didn't understand the politics of the show or anything, but I was told that they chose not to do it with my character because they didn't know what the backlash was going to be. So they wanted to put someone else and try it with that person. Because they knew that Bianca was never going to be affected because everyone loved Bianca, but they didn't want to blow But I was pissed about that. Because I would have rather dealt with that. I knew that our fans were going to love it. That's what our fans wanted. But, you know, also she got the older, sexy, you know, woman with an accent. I mean, who doesn't want that? You know, so.
Yeah, but you know, like Agnes's whole thing was like make them laugh, make them cry, make them wait. And boy, did they make them wait. But you know, hopefully it was satisfying when we ultimately did, you know, get together and stuff. Well, I guess then we went to friends.
Yeah, it was
Fan fiction.
Okay, sorry guys. Well, I don't know. They you know, they didn't know. It was a different time. We were breaking ground, guys. And that is true.
Well, it must have been frustrating as actresses because, you know, everyone else on soaps is just, they're having sex in the shower, they're having threesomes, like it's just constant, and then they're like, okay, maybe you guys can have like this chaste little peck. So what was it? Was there a lot of notes on like choreographing the kiss because you put it in the show?
No open mouth.
We've talked about this a few times. But go ahead, yeah.
I don't remember.
This is when you talk about how much you love my Please, the bit we've been doing for years, Ian. Remember? And I thought your lips were so soft.
But hers are like, I don't know what mine feel like, but hers are like pillows that you could just like, you could just lie down in them for the rest of your life and sleep and dream about like amazing things.
My boyfriend's gonna be so mad he didn't say it.
Oh my God, like you have no idea, people. You have no idea. It's really an intense experience.
It's supposed to be pretend.
It wasn't pretend. It was great, and we got into it, and they were like, we saw tongue.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it before. We were like, let's go for it. Because we were like, let's go for it. Open mouth. We're like going for it.
Just
We
like
want-
anybody else on the show,
That's
by
good.
the way. Like we were like, we did our research.
And also it was cut.
We see tongue.
And we were like, yeah. And I remember I said, and I'm surprised that I said this then. I would say it now, but I'm surprised I said it then because I really was a little tiny character on the show. And I said, well, did anyone see the menage a trois scene with JR and his brother in the shower? And we can't kiss? And I like said it out and yelled it. And I was like, oh. Fine, let's do this. Is that what you want? And then cut to the air show, cut from Kendall and Catherine Matheson's character, Ryan, making out, and then the tag was our kiss, and then it picked up with right from then. Yes, it's like yes. Give this little lame kiss right to that kiss. like make the scene happen, blah, 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 and then do that. But that was such a clear choice. And I remember that at that point, I was like, this is unfair. This is so unfair. And yeah, I was really upset about it. And I didn't have the voice at that time to even go to say anything to someone. Yeah. Because at this point, where I am now in my career, my age, and I would for sure go straight to my executive producer the next day and say, did you see what you just did? Because that's not okay. That's not what I'm here for.
Such a short, 10 years, it's such a short time span. How much stuff has changed so fast. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, no, it's true. Although, I don't know. It changed, but not enough, right?
We're getting there. Not on network. Cable.
Yeah.
I was watching, has anyone seen the new Lance Black show that just came out on ABC?
When We Rise?
When We Rise. I just started watching, I just saw a part of it last night, and I was like, okay, we're making ABC primetime television, and there's a step forward there, right? Did you see? Yeah. But they're talking about, they're really putting it out there. I mean, it's reality, right? Yeah, and ABC.
So, throughout your run on AMC, was there any storylines? Was there anything that you guys wanted to cover, or storylines you wanted to tell that you maybe didn't get a chance to, or weren't
all
allowed
of
to?
them? Yeah. I mean, we really wanted to have a fully fleshed out relationship, and it was always
maybe in Paris, but we don't know.
I know. It was always like the tease of someday maybe, and it's we wanted to not just be the happy boring couple because that's soap opera death, but to why is it just one person who thinks that she's straight that Bianca's chasing for years and years and trying to convert or whatever, and then ultimately Maggie was bi, but boy did she, I don't know, it's just there. The coffee is starting to.
I was just thinking, get her more coffee.
But why were there only 2 lesbians on the show at a time?
Right. Yeah. Why did we have the triangle? Where was the other, hot lesbian walking around that I could? Yeah, for sure.
It's just that they didn't even. We never got to see it through.
Yeah.
And the show's not.
And there are no other shows on daytime television either. I mean,
that are dealing with it.
I think there's a gay character on days, but I don't know if is he there anymore? They're not doing anything anymore. But did they have? Was she saying? Did they have another? Yeah. It's just give
It's just such a missed opportunity because even 10 or 12 or whatever years ago, the network was so surprised and pleasantly surprised that even in middle America, I mean, they always say once you meet somebody, once you know somebody who is gay or lesbian or transgender or any number of things, then you go oh, I get this now. It's not this scary other thing that I have to be afraid of. But middle America, who were at the time very opposed to gay marriage and gays adopting children, were all for Bianca getting her baby back. So it was a window to open it up to people who otherwise might not have experienced that, and they loved Susan. So when she learned to accept it, they learned to accept it with her. And I think that people wouldn't turn their backs on it. In fact, it would increase popularity. You guys would watch it. And I don't think that it would cause the back. I mean, God knows in this America that we're living in right now, but I just don't think that it would cause the backlash that people are so afraid to do anything.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and it's still occurring. I see, my show on Young the Restless, I don't think they've ever had a lesbian or gay character. They have never had a gay character on the show. I don't know, they're so afraid still, and it's really frustrating.
It's time for Heather's lesbian twin to come back.
audience.
Okay, here you go.
No, I'm just kidding. I come down to you.
Hi. So, years ago I developed friendships because of my fondness for your characters. I'm just wondering if you guys had any lasting relationships or experiences from that you've carried on to today.
All my relationships. I stopped aging, like I stopped maturing at all my children. That's what that's it. So I can't meet anybody new. I'm just like, please don't ever leave me. I met Phil and Mary Beth. Did she leave?
She did.
That traitor. Dear God. Where'd she go?
She went to another ship.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm confused.
Shocking revelations.
This is the woman that I ran into last. Wait, is this MS Can Do?
Yeah.
What is that? I was really hoping she was going to be here because I want to know what that stands for. Okay. Who literally tweeted last night, I think I freaked out Liz. I said, Liz, it's me! Like, we were all pals. And I was like, oh my god, I know who you are. I know her handle. And now she's not here. My old friend. Okay, so.
Man, she blew it.
Yeah.
No, but I've met people over the years that have stayed with me, and I'm incredibly proud of the little tiny thing I accomplished once upon a time. And I will carry that with me for the rest of my life. I feel incredibly honored to have been a part of it, and I can stop now.
All right, we have a question down here.
Hi. I actually have two questions. One of them is controversial and one of them isn't. So this is
Controversial first.
awesome. Okay, so in 2006, all my children broke another daytime barrier by introducing the first transgender character, Zoe.
Yeah.
Everybody do. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That storyline.
Oh, you guys aren't fans?
Well, the storyline wasn't the greatest, right? So
that was awful.
Zarf.
what I remember the most about that storyline was the fact that Bianca was so fiercely protective of Zoe and made sure to never misgender her. And so for me, as someone living in Florida as a little baby gay who didn't know anything, I didn't know that you could misgender someone, and so it was an introduction for me to transgender people and how to not misgender. Maggie wasn't the best about it. She was it's the controversial part, right? So I was just curious if you could comment on that relationship and what Agnes's thoughts were on that. And then the second one's much easier, which is, can you tell us about imaginary bitches? Love it.
Oh, yay. Yeah, no, I don't think the transgender storyline was necessarily handled very well. But I'm damn glad we did it at all. And growing pains, like, we're gonna make mistakes. At least they were trying. I like people trying. I don't like people not trying. So I have definitely, as Barack Obama would say, evolved on the issue of transgender people. The more I learn about the transgender community, the more I just want to. And I think it may be something that I'm embarrassed to say might have made me uncomfortable at one point in my life. Sorry to get so serious. And so I have some empathy with people who are afraid, and it is something that you go like, whoa, that's so different. That's so, like, I don't know. I grew up in the theater community, like, gay and lesbian was just not a big deal. And this was like the one thing that you go like, oh wait, hang on, I recognize something in me that I don't like very much, which is, maybe some sort of bias or fear or whatever. I feel like what separates us from them, and I don't know to us and them thing, is that we can see where we still need to grow, and maybe we're not all there yet. that character probably should not have been played by a man, and not a transgender person, woman, or somebody who, I don't know. But and a lot of people thought it was an excuse just to get Bianca with a man, and that's no good. And it really short-shrifted the lesbian storyline and gave this other, put a big spotlight on this thing. And when there's so few narratives about the gay and lesbian community on TV, you can't just do that. It's, if there were a ton, then okay, but it was so precious at that point. And it's still kind of precious, but then it was like really, really precious. So anyway, it was always important for Agnes to show people the humanity in somebody different from them, and to push the boundaries of what people would accept. And so I look to that storyline and go like, man, we did that then, I'm proud. And I just hope that people will keep working to make it better and make the representations better, to help people like me who still need to learn stuff. This is my favorite ever, and I wish you could keep making it because I love it.
Everyone always asks for it.
Imaginary Babies, remember? Elizabeth came up with Imaginary Babies, the sequel. My husband's like
Really busy and killing
about
it.
me, I guess. Someday, when I have a lot of money, I'm going to pay him to help me make more.
I have a lot of time on my hands. We could
Do you
just
want to do it?
Yeah, why don't we? I honestly have a lot of time.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to be very available.
Birth of something here.
I bet fans would fund it.
I just want to say
crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Raise your hand if you would crowdfund Imaginary Babies.
Yes.
I am hoping all of you do it.
Track me down. Someone started a Kickstarter. All right. Let's see.
Hi. I don't know if I really have any questions. I just kind of want to, probably on behalf of almost everyone here, thank you for, at the time, being one of, if not the first, positive representations of a female queer character on TV. Like people like myself, I grew up in the Bible Belt. I didn't know that that was a thing. And I talked to Eden a little bit about this, but even beyond that, it wasn't just they threw in a gay character to mix it up on a soap opera. They made Bianca, and this is much credit to Eden as the writers, they made Bianca the moral center of everyone. So it wasn't like, it didn't enforce any of those negative stereotypes.
Right.
And it showed people, and probably a lot of older people who were raising kids who would need to come out to them before too long. And it was showing them through a show that they had been watching for probably 30 years that, you know, queer characters, that's just one aspect of them. They can be the most loving, you know, kind, virtuous person there, and that's just one part of them. And then Maggie, yeah, and we were so desperate for representation at that time, so desperate for it that even the chast kiss every 3 years on average, that we would get, we were desperate for it, and that's what we had to hold on to at that time. So we would be rooting for it, and it was a reason just to keep watching and follow it, even through the, you know, cringeworthy attempts at trans representation. But like you said, and they were trying. And in the end, I mean, I think for to keep a lot of us happy, we kind of end the Bianca storyline at different parts, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's the beauty of family.
Like maybe before Maggie inexplicably cheated and everything went badly.
Yeah.
But
oh my God, there's so many points that it's like, just stop. Just stop. No, but I love what you said. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
It was one of the first, you know, the first on daytime television. God bless Agnes Nixon for making it. involving the main character, Susan Lucci, like in this storyline, she made sure that it wasn't going to be handled badly, and it was handled beautifully. And at that time, when there aren't other representations, then it is really important to make Bianca this moral center. And at one point, she was the only good person in it. At several points, she was the only person that actually, that wasn't, you know, a murderer. So she was. Well, yeah, that's also
technically, that's also because of you.
Yeah.
Because you know that the way that they sometimes follow the way that you know we are in our own lives. Just like when you said that, you know, I came on the set and I had this fiery thing. They ran with that.
Yeah.
There is no way that they could, because you're a beautiful person inside and out. You're one of the most intelligent women I have ever met. So they were so lucky that they did hire someone like you for that role, because there was no way that they could ever make Bianca that person, because there's not even an inkling inside of your soul that could ever even play that, because it's just not what you represent. It's not what you show. So you were meant to play that role. You were meant to be that person.
Judy White Wilson like really tracked me down. She must have like known. She's like, I don't know. There's something about that lady. But yeah. God, thanks ClexaCon. This is the Make You Cry panel. I've got time for a couple more questions.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's emotional now. But I wanted to ask about Maggie cheating on Bianca. Because it was
I don't remember this stuff. What did you cheat on her? What did she? Hey, remind me.
It was so out of character for Maggie to cheat on Bianca.
You never would have cheated.
Maggie would never cheat on
Who?
Bianca. Cecilia.
I cheated.
Or it was the first
In
year.
Pine Valley, she told her
You came up
brother
with two
that
days.
she
Oh,
cheated.
And you know what? They were really proud of themselves. You know? Because they were like, Maggie cheated with a woman. Yeah, I think it was great. Show us that. Show us.
Yeah.
Hire
I think I
somebody.
was excited about that too.
Yeah.
You know, that I wasn't coming and playing, you know, whatever, when they tried to send me down straight lane, you know.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, she was.
Well,
She wasn't looking at
how
her.
did you feel about that? And then Elizabeth, how
I
did you
think
find out?
that whole thing was designed, I mean, that plot-driven, you know, that didn't really happen. So that whole thing was designed to explain the fact that Bianca's back in town and Maggie's not, because Bianca was under a short-term contract. Yeah. But Maggie was not.
Yeah.
Because I guess you were already in Leonard at that point.
I wasn't, but I was living in California and I wasn't working. And I remember being like, yes, 2 weeks in New York for work, great. And
For me, they were like, hey, come back, we're gonna have a beautiful wedding. And I was like, yes, sign me up. And then it didn't turn out quite like that. So they got me back, they didn't get her back. They had this whole idea. It was very misguided, and it was just
so usually how it goes along, you know. Sometimes they just take stuff like hope to, you know, stick it against the wall, you know, throw it against the wall, and it sticks or it doesn't. And if it's really if like we're available or not. So I guess all that happened because
that was all
we
we
sucked.
Like that was all. I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
I must fight. All right, so we got time for one more question.
Hi.
Hi, nice shirt.
Hashtag BAM, available at BAM.com.
The fan club will help you with the crowdsourcing. So just let me know. So there's been some talk about possibly bringing AMC back on Netflix.
Yes, I was there when this talk initiated.
Yeah.
So it's an awesome idea. So okay, so we did this reunion thing. Did you know about this?
I saw, and and Susan was doing like Pilates the whole day. All I heard was there was like everyone there, and there was Susan doing hundreds for an hour. But I was like, but I bet you she's damn good, right? Was it? That's what I heard.
You're so right.
It was really just for her to promote her.
She was doing this thing for a week, and then at the last day they had people, and so there were surprise guests like Michael Knight,
Right.
Jill Larson, and it was super cool. And I got to meet people on the show that I've never met before. And then in the course of it, there was a lot of talk about, like, you know, there's still a passion for this, and in the age of streaming services, you know, a lot of things are getting revived, and you don't need network numbers anymore to make something successful, because, you know,
It probably would have done a lot better on, because you guys were on Hulu, right? When you moved over? You were barely, was that on Hulu, right?
Oh, yeah.
When they moved out to California and they went on
Yes.
Hulu, I probably would have done a lot better now on Hulu,
Yes.
because that was the very beginning
Hulu's like a
stages.
thing now.
Well, yeah, I watch everything on Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's right.
No, not at all. But and then somebody asked Susan, like, would you do it? And she said, well, not for anybody, but for Netflix I would, because she was like, they're doing really good stuff. So is Hulu, so is Amazon. There's a lot of places. Yeah. Crowdsource people with telephones. Hashtag revive all my children. Hashtag bring back Beyonce.
They like they run into each other in their Vegas getaway. They just happen to see each other across the room.
It's like the end of Shawshank Redemption, and then they're like, it's just one Mayo, and like, you're repairing a boat.
You come walking down.
I mean, it's been zooming out to zoom in, and then it's just, we all get back this amazing life on a lesbian island. But everybody just receded from the United States of America. It's a lesbianistan.
Oh my god.
Do you read fanfic or something?
Is that a thing? Like, I read it somewhere else.
Right, so my question was actually, if you...
Oh, you have a question?
You're right. If, well, I know, Eden, if you were approached, you would go back in a heartbeat, but Liz, if you were available and approached, would you reprise your role as Maggie?
Of course. Of course.
You said approached and available. I think work around your schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it works with being on. Yeah,
Okay.
You kind of like.
Wally Kurtz is on Days and General Hospital at the same time.
What?
Wally Kurtz appears on General Hospital and Days
There
of
you
Our
go.
Lives on the same day.
Well, apparently.
As it's different
there aren't
characters.
enough actors in the world.
Sound same character. There you go. Well, like I said, I might be very, very available on time, so I would be able to do it.
All right, unfortunately, that's all the time we have.
No!
For photos and autographs today. Thank you guys so much for